It's art. Cartoons cut across language barriers. It's a step above typical graffiti. It forces my gaze into the gaze of a Palestinian refugee. The images on the wall and images in refugee camps, it's art. I mean, it's just art being displayed within its own context. If you're, traditional art is in a traditional venue. You'll see, the Mona Lisa in a museum. You go to a museum to see this. But street art is what you would find in the street. And so I think that's how cartoons have kind of occupied this space. You have a limited amount of time. If you approach the wall, you can get shot with rubber bullets. You can get chased away. The wall opens up. Soldiers come out. So you have a limited amount of time to draw. You spray paint what you can spray paint, and that's the image. So I think on a deeper level, the way in which cartoons have impacted me is more as an activist. I work in the summers with an NGO in Palestine, Musalaha, that facilitates reconciliation work between Jews and Arabs in Palestine. And so I'm over there frequently, and one thing I try to do every time I'm there is visit some of the refugee camps. And when you go through the refugee camps, you can see, especially Aida, which is in Bethlehem, just near Jerusalem, you can see a lot of images painted on the separation wall between Israel and Palestine. And so there's this very graphic resistance that goes on. I mean, it's a step above typical graffiti. Naji al-Ali was a Palestinian refugee. He was born sometime between 1936 or 1938. We don't really know. And his family was actually a part of the 800,000 Palestinians that were expelled from Palestine in 1948. So he grew up in the Ain Hilwa refugee camp in Lebanon, just across the border in Beirut. And so his cartoons really came to reflect that experience. I mean, he grew up, he was a wage laborer. He just practiced art in his spare time and happened to be noticed by someone who picked him up and then made him famous. But his cartoons, most of them contain a character called Handala. If you've seen on the cover of my syllabus, he's the little child that's looking at Christ, but he's this child character. You never see his face, and his details aren't very strongly drawn, but it's supposed to be a reflection of Naji al-Ali himself when he was forced out of Palestine. And so that kind of drew me into this world of Palestinian editorial cartooning. And so now I'm at this point where the scholarship and the activism kind of go hand in hand, and I study cartoons as this means of resistance and the ways in which Palestinians have used cartoons as a resistance to this occupation that's impacting their lives. It forces my gaze into the gaze of a Palestinian refugee. And so that's, I think, what is so powerful about his work. And it touches on the power, I think, of cartoons in Palestinian society. Handala is now everywhere. Al-Ali was assassinated in 1987 in London, but if you go anywhere, I mean, there's graffiti of Handala on the wall. People wear Handala hats. You can get Handala necklaces. I saw a bumper sticker of him. I was dropping the kids off at my wife's school last year, and somebody had a Handala bumper sticker, and we've still never figured out who it is. But he's kind of become the face of Palestine in many ways. Handala is this 11-year-old boy. He doesn't have shoes. He doesn't have a home. But he always exudes strength. In every cartoon, he's resisting in some ways. I mean, sometimes he's throwing a rock. Sometimes he's helping, a grieving mother. And I think Ali was very secular, but he was nominally a Muslim. But I think there's a lot of a Christian lesson in Handala in terms of, in and of his own strength, Handala really can't do anything, but he's kind of part of this larger cause, part of this larger power, and that's something that is empowering, this idea of strength in weakness and strength through weakness.